What's up, everybody? I'm just jamming to that awesome intro that we have now. Welcome back to the FTI Podcast, episode 14. 14 of these now. It's amazing.
Yeah, I didn't think we'd get this far.
Yeah, I thought we would have burned out a long time ago, and maybe we have. Who knows? Nobody's told us to stop. Except for maybe Chris's computer has told us to stop today.
Yeah, if you haven't noticed my potato quality, I'm using my MacBook Air because my fancy computer with, my fancy gaming setup. I started the computer at 5:30. It now just opened Google, so
Whew.
after 3 restarts and all that, I've been a Mac person for the past 15 years, and recently have built this gaming computer and all of this. And every time Windows updates, it decides it doesn't want to computer for a little bit. So it's up now. Hopefully next week we won't have this potato quality, but I'm not gonna risk trying to switch everything over right now.
Oh no, that'd be hell.
Yeah. So, how was your week?
Oh, my weekend was great. Friday went out and shot some golf balls at this place called Big Shots, which is pretty cool. Had some subpar alcoholic beverages that we ended up having removed from our bill because they were disgusting.
I heard that you guys did not have luck with drinks this week.
No. And then I did a Jack and Coke because it's pretty hard to mess that up. And then Saturday I met with you. We went to Sharon Speedway from World of Outlaws, which was really fun. And then yesterday I spent it all my birthday, turned 30 yesterday. Spent my whole birthday at Midville Speedway doing karting. Finally, we got a race in. So that was exciting.
Was that your third or fourth attempt to get some racing in?
This was our fourth scheduled race. So 6 more to go in the season. So I got 3 freebies out of the way.
Yeah. Oh, now you want to work computer. It brought up Streamlabs and everything, so I knew I should have started it yesterday, but decided I was going to work on World of Outlaws and High Limit Pictures all day.
Yes, that's right. We were at High Limits on Tuesday over at Wayne County Speedway.
And Kyle Larson just stinking up the show all week, just winning everything. He won that High Limits. He won the truck race. He won the All-Star race.
Yeah.
If he was in the 500 this week, he might have just qualified on the pole too. I mean, the
probably would have won.
The McLarens were fast, so I mean, might have taken pole for that too.
That's gonna be really interesting next year because he'll be pulling double duty that day and running the 500 and then going to Charlotte to run the 600. That'll be quite an interesting day for him.
That sounds like an excruciating day.
Yeah. We're just gonna do 1,100 miles.
Yeah, and I mean
in one day.
Watching
the chopper and head over.
Watching qualifying. Well, I mean, he made enough money this week to get himself his own plane if he doesn't have one already.
Yeah, that's for sure.
32,000 from High Limits and $1 million last night, plus whatever the truck race paid. Plenty of money to go buy himself his own airplane.
If he doesn't already have one, I'm sure the Hendrick team will be gracious enough to lend him a ride.
Last year for some event, I think he was using Denny's plane. If I remember correctly, but yeah, I mean, what a week for Kyle Larson. And I guess we could just segue that into the All-Star race.
I did not.
Did you watch any of it?
I did not.
Yeah, I sat here and watched all of it. Yeah, the entire week of build up for the return of North Wilkesboro after, almost 30 years of being dormant. And yeah, Kyle Larson stunk up the show after go ahead.
Was it worth the hype?
The race itself, no. The return, everything I've heard or seen from the event itself in person seemed like it was something to behold. I listened to the Teardown today, and they both talked about how great it, the experience itself was. Denny's podcast wasn't out by the time I got off work today, so I didn't listen to Denny. But yeah, it seems like the experience itself was worth it, but the racing was not. And I think that all goes back to this car. I've been talking about it all year now, that this car on anything but really the mile and a half is garbage. There was very little passing. Kyle Larson got the lead on tire strategy and never looked back the entire race. I mean, I don't even know if anyone really even challenged him a couple laps out of a restart. That, every restart he was, he might have low competition for 2-3 laps, but that was about it. There was no competition for him all day. Once he got into clean air, he was gone and no one was catching him.
Dang.
I mean, kind of the way he was at high limits on Tuesday.
Yeah.
I mean, those few restarts, by the time he was out of 2, he'd gapped second place. So, I mean, just the raw skill of Kyle Larson, but also just, this car just does not do well on these short tracks. There's too much power, or not enough power, too much downforce, and too much tire. It's been a reoccurring theme this year that since they ran the late model race last year at Wilkesboro, the conversation has been the surface is going to wear tires like crazy. And I mean, they did their 100-lap runs yesterday with no issues on tires. Goodyear is just bringing too good of a tire. These wider tires on these next-gen cars, they don't have the fall off. There's just it's stinking up the show because there's no change in running order. There's some passing through the field, but other than that, I mean, you get into clean air, unless you make a mistake or a lapper makes a mistake in front of you, you're gonna win.
Yeah, it's just the whole next gen product hasn't really lived up to the hype that they surrounded it with. And just from coming into this year, I mean, the racing hasn't been that entertaining. It's just kind of meh.
Yeah, I mean, it's just every week it's just been kind of meh. We've had a couple Kansas good mile and a half, Texas and Las Vegas. I think those were both okay races, but I mean, other than that, the short tracks, the Wilkesboro yesterday is, everyone's throughout. This is what NASCAR started. This is NASCAR right here. Well, if I'm a fan watching and, all I've heard is this is going to be the greatest race of a decade, or, whatever hype there was. And that's the product I watch. I don't know if I'd be back next week.
Yeah.
And then next
quite
week
a
we got the
disappointment.
longest race of the season. But it is a mile and a half, so next week could be an okay race. But being 600 miles, it's going to be a lot of follow the leader till maybe that last stage.
Now, I am watching the highlights here. I do like some of these paint schemes they did for it. I don't
Yeah.
like Stenhouse's. I don't know why they would. It must be like Coke Zero or something, because they have black on red, which looks horrible. The 43, the STP, just looks amazing. Like,
Oh, yeah. I mean, the petty blue
perfect.
and orange has always looked.
Perfect opportunity. See, that's how you do a throwback.
Yeah, that was something they talked about on the teardown today, and the big topic last week was is throwback week lost its luster? And yeah, I would agree that we're kind of doing the same schemes over and over again. No one's really doing anything too crazy and all of that, but they had suggested moving it if they're going to continue North Wilkesboro to do throwback week then, but Darlington then for their first race of the year, because they get two, kind of loses their gimmick for the first race of the year. So it's all just, I don't know. I liked throwback week in years prior. You had all the YouTube videos, especially, Eric Estep on Out of the Groove does great work with his video. His videos on the past where he judges all of the throwback schemes, and he kind of compiles them all into one video, and you can get a good idea of who's throwing back to what and all that. But other than that, yeah, I think it's kind of run its course. No one's doing anything fun or crazy with it anymore.
Yeah, it's another thing. This is kind of off topic, but you see this with like IndyCar and NASCAR, and it's something that they don't do that F1 does, and I like, is that the numbers go with the driver, and that's your number. We should be retiring numbers like the 43 and 24. These should be historic numbers. I know that they still want these to be out there, and it's so weird that the teams own the numbers. So you go to another team, and then you're a different number, and that like in F1, your number is part of your brand as a driver.
Yeah,
which makes sense.
I don't know, because I think like with the history of NASCAR, no one's just gonna be a Willie B fan. They're a 24 fan. They were a diehard Jeff Gordon fan, so the 24 is still on the track, and they might.
Like, I don't know who that kid is, but I'm gonna root for him because I like the number.
The only one I will say I agree with you on is the number 3.
Yeah, that should not be out there anymore.
I think and it wasn't for years until Austin Dillon came up to the Cup Series, and Grandpa gave him that number. So, yes, I kind of agree with you. Like, maybe once the king passes away, you'd retire the 43, because here, when the day inevitably does happen, the team will really have had nothing to do with the 43 anymore. Legacy Motor Club, I think Richard Petty has sold all of his stakes in the team. It's now just they're kind of living off of the name, blah, blah, blah. It's now just majority Marty Gallagher and Jimmy who are running and owning that team. Richard Petty's just more or less a spokesperson. Hey, look, you should sponsor us because
I'm
we're
still involved.
affiliated. Yeah, we're affiliated with the king. So
It's just like
yeah,
Jimmy Johnson. That's his number. He has many
yeah.
championships. 48 is his number. I don't. It's still with Willie B. Like 24. That's Jeff Gordon. It was his number forever. The number
But
8 is Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Here, two things there. Jeff Gordon is high in Hendrick right now. High in Hendrick Motorsports. He may actually partially own the 24 car. So I mean, I can kind of see that. The 8, Jeff Gordon, or not Jeff Gordon, Jr. actually drove the 88 for Hendrick longer than he drove the 8 for DEI.
Really?
Yes. We just all remember the iconic 8.
Yeah, it was the red Budweiser. It was you hate to use iconic, but it was an iconic.
It's the Petty Blue 43,
it's
STP
just like
43,
the Lowe's 48, iconic. Yeah. The Home Depot number 20, iconic. These are these iconic cars of the early 2000s.
the heyday of NASCAR.
When it was at its peak. And
yeah,
then the Exalta 24 is not going to be an iconic car. What would you even call iconic nowadays? They change the paint schemes every other week, it seems.
I mean, you've got Alex Bowman who's in the Ally car every week.
Yeah, you have. I will give you, Hendrick doesn't change
as
often.
Much.
Yeah. Hardly ever. Larson is always in the HendrickCars.com. Chase Elliott is always in the Napa, which he should be. That's a championship winning car. Why?
I mean, he does the Hooters a couple times a year, and I know UniFirst will get 1 or 2, but yeah, for the most part, he's in the same car, and I mean, I think that's part of the next gen and why they're kind of allowing these terrible races to continue right now, is because they're trying to keep the price down for teams without doing wholesale changes to these the entire car to keep that down. So maybe they get the price down enough that you can get a major brand to sponsor for the entire year. You can do that, Hendrick. You can do that. Some of that, the teams that they only have one sponsor all year. But as we're talking about this, Denny could be losing the FedEx sponsorship.
Oh, that would be weird.
Or, at least maybe cutting down because he, for the most part, is the 11 FedEx car. I would say that might be a pretty iconic car right now, would be the 11 FedEx car.
Oh, most definitely.
But
that is one of the top.
Right now, they have a new CEO, CFO, somebody coming in that wants to cut $2 billion. Well, you cut, just throwing numbers off the top of my head, $10 million in that NASCAR sponsorship. Well, there you go. There's part of it.
They're the only package service that's in NASCAR. You don't see DHL in NASCAR. DHL is over in F1 and IndyCar.
Yeah,
you don't have UPS anymore.
Yeah, I mean, most sponsors
Amazon
now
to sponsor a car.
Most sponsorships now are just B2B, business to business. So you look at some of these sponsorships and you're like, who is that? And it's just a business trying to attract other. I'm trying to look on my wall for a car that might be, like a B2B, but and a lot of the B2B stuff you kind of get more in Xfinity and trucks than you do in the Cup Series, but
Well, I
you get
mean,
some of these like
look at
worldwide technology and stuff. Like
look
that's a
at
big one of
IndyCar, NTT. The
yeah.
business to business. It's
Yeah, a lot of the sponsorships. I mean, some of it too. I think it's just rich guys saying, getting their name on a car. They're getting their company on a car.
I like race cars.
Yeah,
I'm gonna put my name on it. I have money.
yeah. That's was I telling you guys this weekend? That, oh yeah, I was telling you guys that when we were at Sharon that my dentist likes IndyCar. And he pays for a paddock pass and VIP and all that kind of stuff every year.
It'd be weird to have your dentist have a little sticker, his dentist office on there. Well, it's just like Cleveland Cliff Steel, like sponsors MSR.
Yeah.
What?
But yeah, I mean, in the Cup, Felix is coming for his weekly visit. He just the camera's just a little low this week, a little high this week, but yeah, a lot of the sponsorship is B2B. Cup Series, you get a little more, B2C, business to consumer. I think it is kind of funny with like the World of Outlaws and High Limits this week, looking at some of the sponsors that are from nowhere around where you're racing. It'll be some construction company, and it's from wherever, we're in Ohio and it might be in Colorado or something.
I'm surprised how many of those guys are from California.
Yeah, I mean, Kyle Larson's from California. You got Bowman from Arizona and all that kind of stuff. Dirt racing must be pretty big out there too. But one last thing on the NASCAR race. I don't know if you paid attention much to the news today, but NASCAR fan, somebody hacked into Bubba's radio towards the end of the race, at the end of the race, and told him to go back where he came from. So go back to Alabama, probably one of the most, American
Please
states.
go back to one of the most southern states.
Yeah. Let's go back to Alabama,
I drive
headquarters
through Alabama to go on vacation.
Hillbillies.
I drive through the entire state. I tell you, that is a redneck state.
Yeah. And then, he's lived most of his life in Charlotte, and it's like, come on. I mean, he's about as southern as they come. All day on Twitter today, people calling him names and calling him a thug there's a picture of him throwing the middle finger on camera. And people are getting offended.
Okay, then Will Power is a thug for his double bird.
Yet Chase Elliott, there's an iconic picture of him. I want to say it might have been the All-Star race in 2020, giving somebody the bird. I mean, there's so many iconic moments of, drivers giving everyone the bird. If you're that fragile, that
racing is not the sport for you.
Yeah, I mean,
watch golf.
It's just hilarious that all of these people on Twitter will just they'll show their true selves, all the time. And
could you imagine if any of these guys would go? These people that complain about that would go to a local track.
Yeah, I mean,
racing is a crass sport. It's not.
It's not the middle finger. It's his skin color. It's the Confederate flag thing. It's a bunch of people who call people snowflakes. being the
are the
biggest,
snowflakes.
most fragile snowflakes around.
They're the same people that would be like, "Oh, I don't like that Roman Grosjean. He has a gay car for the
Yeah.
8500." Yeah, those are the people that are the same ones that are like, "I don't like that Bubba Wallace guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's just,
He has
you
no
know,
reason to be in this sport."
it makes me think of some of the other things. Years ago, when did he lose his seat? 21, I think he lost his seat. But yeah, it was 2021. Matt DiBenedetto, who's now in the truck series, trying to rebrand himself as the most what was it? Patriotic and Christian driver in NASCAR. And it's like that's all of NASCAR. There's a prayer before the race. The national anthem and all of its activities before takes 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah.
The military flies planes over. I don't think you get much
The
more
military
patriotic.
attends.
Yeah. I don't think you get much more patriotic than NASCAR.
No, NASCAR is more patriotic than baseball.
There's one foreign driver in NASCAR right now.
Was that Suarez?
Suarez, that's
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
It will even look when Montoya was in NASCAR. First of all, everyone thought he was Mexican. He's not. He's Colombian. I think he's Colombian. I'm pretty sure he's Colombian.
It's just,
that'd be really bad if I got it wrong. But everyone thought he was Mexican. He's Colombian. I'm pretty sure he's Colombian.
Oh, but yeah, I mean, I was seeing that all day today, and it's so funny. Like, I think it's so funny that, you know, these big tough NASCAR fans, these big tough rednecks, they're offended by a middle finger. You know, he gets the biggest boos in the crowd during intros and this and that, and then he finishes the race second.
Well, you could say the same thing. Larson's just a little California boy.
Yeah.
You know?
It's just
in that case, then no driver that is north of the Mason-Dixon or west of the Mississippi is a true American. It's only these drivers that are from North Carolina, Georgia, Florida.
Yeah, it's all just a pick and choose.
You're from
and
Indiana.
I mean,
what are you? You're a freaking you're an Indy driver. You ain't no NASCAR driver.
But yeah, that was just a little rant I wanted to go on. I was just seeing that stuff all day, and it's like, Bubba's here to stay. He's performing. He came in second yesterday on a track that you need to perform on. Super speedways, he's always up there in the front. These 1.5 miles now, he's up there every race. So these people are going to have to get used to it. It's something they're going to have to get used to. So you can cry all you like, but he's here to stay, and he's probably going to at least win a couple more before he retires.
Yeah, but so let's roll over to the tumultuous IndyCar qualifying this weekend, where our own local boy, hailing from Columbus, Ohio, or somewhere near it, because literally
you could live suburbs down
you
there.
could live half an hour from Columbus, and you're still from Columbus. Didn't make it into the Indy 500.
Did you get to watch that qualifying at all?
I watched just yesterday's, all of it.
All of it yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay, so
where his own teammate went out. I mean, give it to friggin' Harvey's team.
Yeah,
that crew for just being persistent on trying to get in.
So I had ordered dinner after all four had gone. It was 20 minutes to pick up dinner. It's 5 minutes from my house. So I was like, okay, I've got this 40-minute block or whatever it was. I think it was like 25 minutes. I think it was a 25-minute block to go pick up pizza, get back to the house. I could have had any time, extra time to catch any last minute runs, within that last like 5-10 minutes or whatever. They didn't have my food ready while I was there.
Oh, God.
Thankfully, I had IndyCar radio on. I got to hear the run that he didn't, make the time. Lap 1 and 2 of the run that he ended up making the time as I'm pulling into my driveway. And my dogs were barking inside, so I wanted to like get out of the car real fast and run inside so they weren't barking. As my phone connected to the Wi-Fi of my house, it disrupted the IndyCar radio, stream. So I didn't get to see if he had made the time for like 2 or 3 minutes afterwards because I had to run in. My TV had gone into power safe mode. So I had to turn my TV on, start the Peacock app to see that he had made it. So, that was my fun story about that.
In Ray Hall's interview, he had to cut it short. I mean, that has to be an emotional moment not getting in, being a regular season driver, being the last of your team. Which I also think this is really stupid that 34 cars, 33. You can't have one that's just hanging by itself. You have to have the perfect 3 rows. Like
tradition.
It's the same thing with the Daytona 500. You should have just let the other 2 cars in. It's dumb.
But you need that drama of bump day. Or you could have done 34 cars and started them in rows of 2, but tradition, man.
Tradition. The greatest spectacle in racing. We're going to, bump out a regular season driver.
Yeah.
At least it's not double points anymore. But it's
I do think it's
a points.
It's also crazy that all the one-off entries made it in first try.
Yeah. I think it's ridiculous that they can bump out a championship running driver, not in this, anywhere close to being in this, the standing for the championship, but now he has all these points he's going to miss out. But you'll have these other people that get to be on the points roster, and this is the only race they're running. I think I think any driver that's racing the entire season should automatically get into the race. So you're saying that because he can't he's, a fraction of a second off in pace.
I mean, some of these
of a mile an hour, he can't qualify for the race. Obviously he's met the minimum. Because you have to set a minimum
not out
time.
There going,
he's fast.
225 while everyone's
the
230.
car could get better by the end of the week. Like
I don't know.
So what happens if earlier today, Stephen Wilson and Catherine Legg got in an accident? So if one of them can't go, can he get in, or will they just start without one of just move the other people up, and then he just still gets? I mean, did RLL conspiracy corner?
Yeah,
did RLL
sabotage their one-off entry, the only female in the field,
so that way they could get Graham Rahal? What are you up to, Bobby Rahal?
I mean
disappointment. With Bobby Rahal.
That TV shot yesterday was
him on his golf cart, just head down.
Yeah, those TV shots yesterday were
I
a
mean,
little too emotional.
and then you have Jack Harvey, who, he can't, he's excited, but he's not that exciting. His friend and teammate,
Yeah, is
he bumps him out. His boss's son. Like, you have to be happy. You have to do it. It's all part of the game. It's racing.
yeah.
But damn, that sucks.
Yeah. And,
And
I
then
mean,
you have, Elio Castroneves in P20. Like, none of these guys. And then with all that, you have freaking Renus VK and Santino Ferrucci in the Fast Six. What the hell's that? So you have two back markers.
I think I had
up in the
texted
Fast
you
Six
yesterday. I know I had saw this on the broadcast, but there was some like Renus hasn't qualified outside of like the top 10 or something in the last few 500s.
Yeah, like Santino Ferrucci, what has he done this year? Nothing, really. He's been one of those drivers that's never talked about, because he's just kind of somewhere in the back. He's midfield, and then he pulls out, a P2 in the Fast 12.
Yeah.
And then where did he finish yesterday? He a P4. Fourth.
Over Dixon and O'Ward.
Yeah. And you got freaking Renus VK, who got second.
What? I mean, then you got Takama. Sato.
He was in like ninth.
He's P8.
Yeah.
8. Above Tony Kanaan.
But I mean, look at that. All four. Yeah, is it all four? All four of those McLaren boys are up in the top 10.
I mean, going down the list a little more, Benjamin Peterson, 11. I mean, he hasn't done anything all season.
Marcus
because
Ericsson.
I always end up with Peterson in my fantasy lineup, and get 2 points because he finished 3 laps or something.
Yeah, I don't know how. I guess this is the excitement of the 500, that it's just
and I don't know if you caught on
shoot.
Can you hear me?
I'm here. Yeah, I can hear you. Hello.
I somehow muted my tab going back and forth.
How'd you do that?
I don't know. I think I might have just right-clicked the tab or something. But yeah, you look through. I don't know if you caught it on the broadcast yesterday, but they had said something, and I saw a tweet about it earlier, that the difference between like Pelot and
Rosenquist or VK.
I think it was Pelot and VK was something like 16 inches over that 10 miles of the 4 laps.
Oh, God.
In that time, and it's just like, I mean, that's you look at some of that.
You have Kyle Kirkwood out qualifying Joseph Newgarden. Roman Grosjean's all the way down in P20.
Yeah, I
really bad for Will Power was the only one to get. He's P12, or he might not be P12. He made it into the top 12. So where did he finish? P12. Okay. So like Will Power, the reigning champion, is in P12. Okay, that's kind of fitting. He's 12. He's in 12. So horrible qualifying for Penske. I mean, not that great for. I mean, you can't say not that great for Chip Ganassi, because they did pretty good. Not so good for Andretti. I don't think any of their drivers are in the top 12. No. Because it's what? Kirkwood, Grosjean, Herta, Marco, kind of, and Devlin. I mean, That's pretty bad
Yeah.
for Andretti. I mean, everyone's always saying Andretti or Chip Ganassi and Penske are the top dogs, but man, McLaren's sure putting up a fight this year. Yeah, well, they're one of the younger teams, and I mean, you can't really call it. It's not. It's a young team, but it's backed by one of the
Yeah.
biggest motorsports powers, globally. Yeah, that was just crazy yesterday, seeing the team that just a week prior was doing amazing, had one of their
Yeah.
drivers get their first pole, was in the top 10, to be all the way at the back, barely qualifying for the race.
One other complaint that's completely kind of along, IndyCar's website and app are the most useless freaking things on the planet trying to do anything.
Yeah, the update didn't help.
At
least you don't have to, like, every race weekend update the app now.
No,
I wish we did.
It's the same on iPhone.
Oh, really?
Yeah, every Saturday when we were at the track, I went to open the IndyCar app for something. Oh, I think we were talking about what time qualifying was and everything. And it said, "Oh, you must do an app." Sorry, they were fighting behind me. This week, my bed is right back behind us, so they're up there fighting on it. And Felix likes to play referee and yell at everybody. But no, yeah, it said I needed to do an whatever update before I could. Noodle. Come here. 1 second. Okay, we're good. Now I got Newton. Yeah, I had to do the update. Every time I go to open it, every time I try and do fantasy, it wants me to go to the App Store and update the app. It doesn't even, and I have automatic updates on, so I don't understand why.
They probably make it so, simplistic and not in a good way, because they're the owner of the series probably likes to use it, and he's like, it can't be too complicated.
Yeah,
the guy's ancient. I know.
Well, that was
speaking badly about the captain.
I was trying to find the actual qualifying order for the race on Indy's website, and I kept getting to the page where you could click fastest in practice. This,
yeah, that's what I'm looking at right now.
The fast 12.
There's no grid lineup yet.
Yeah, it's so I ended up.
It's Monday.
I ended up just Googling, like Indy 500 qualifying, and got an actual
and Google
article
will actually have it.
Yeah,
Google's better than their own website. This is the weekly segment where Kyle shits on IndyCar and Indy 500. I hate how they do qualifying. An average of 4 laps. Should just be fastest time. So it really undervalues the laps that these drivers are putting in. Like, the fastest IndyCar qualifying is 2:34. These guys are going 2:35. What are you talking about?
Oh, during some of the straightaways in their first or second lap, they're hitting 2:42.
Yeah, what are you talking about? The fastest lap? Like, it should just be fastest lap.
Yeah.
Fastest lap gets it. Not an average of 4. What does an average of 4 do? That's nothing.
I guess they want the consistency.
Like, they can consistently run a fast lap. Who gives a crap? It should anywhere else. It's your fastest lap. It's not like F1. They do. Oh, well, you ran 3 times in this, so we're going to take the average of all of your qualifying times, and we're just going to average them up. World of Outlaws isn't going to.
They could do the NASCAR COVID thing and just go off
no
of
qualifying at all.
No qualifying, grid metrics of this, that, the other. That's where you get to choose the winner of last week gets to choose their pit box this week, and pit boxes are one
Graham
of the
Rahal
most
would still be in
important
if they
things.
did that.
True,
because all of the back markers would have to start in the back, and they would only accept 33 cars, which they should do. If there's only 33 spots, just get 33 cars.
Yeah, but you need. I mean, see, we're thankful we're not. You should be thankful we're not having to cover this all month of May. I
mean, who can we cut? Who can we cut on this? God, Stephen Wilson. I don't even know who he is. Cut him. R.C. Enerson. Cut him. Don't know who he is. They're probably like big name people. Cut him. I don't care. You know, it'd be really embarrassing. I mean, I guess it's not that embarrassing. Former F1 champion Alonso didn't make it into the Indy 500. So, I mean, that one had to hurt pretty bad.
Hey, but it's just going around in circles.
Yeah. That would be really embarrassing if Kyle Larson... he'll come in, he'll just get pole, because whatever he does, he's
so fast.
Watching a racer through and through.
Well, just kind of bring it all full circle with this, but watching him Tuesday at High Limits was phenomenal, the way he gets around that track. And I kind of noticed this yesterday going through my pictures from High Limit. He did not come down off of that top the entire race.
No, he was always up.
At least in 1 and 2 where we were at, because
I have no pictures of him close. I had to, like, all the other ones I was zoomed out so I could actually get him in the frame, and then he's just all the way up here.
I was going through
Larson, I gotta zoom in and be ready
because the lighting wasn't that great up top. I got some, but Felix.
Yeah, no wonder that guy needed 4-5 flashes on poles so he can just get Larson. Maybe he works for Larson.
But yeah, that was the way he took that top the whole time. And then after Randall went over the edge there, I would have just been afraid to ride that top the whole time.
Not Mr. Larson.
Not Kyle Larson.
Money.
He just kept going and kept going. But yeah, I
was kind
of
disappointed.
Think he'll have much problem
with High Limit and World of Outlaw. Only for one fact. Both races were freaking amazing. I think I'm a convert now of dirt. I love it. It's going to be weird going to Detroit for IndyCar and be like, oh, it's asphalt. This is boring.
You'll be clean at least.
Yeah, it won't be dirty. I can actually wear nice shoes. I won't have a mud flap on my shoe. I swear that Sharon Speedway clay is something else. But the thing is, why are the races so short? I think the High Limit was 34 laps and the Outlaws was 30.
I think it was 35 and then 34.
Yeah, like why are these?
You can't.
Why
the
are
dirt
they so short.
You can't run much longer than that.
But I want to see like 100-lap dirt race.
I think the track would just fall apart at that point.
Do a pit. Do a halfway 50-lap pit.
Oh yeah. And I think
then you scrape the track and you do it some more.
That was one of the problems.
I wanted
Saturday
more.
night.
I was like, why? Why is it ending?
Yeah, it was especially Saturday night with no cautions. That race just flew by.
Yeah, it was. With these short races, you really I'm
Yeah,
used
trying
to,
to get content, you're just
I'm used to, the IndyCar races or other races where it's like, oh, cool, I got like 80 laps to get it, which sometimes feels
yeah.
like it goes by really quick. But it's like this one, it's like, crap, I'm
Yeah,
trying to do video, trying to do some picture. And I'm like,
we're not gonna know what to do with ourselves come
and then you look at,
IndyCar when you got
and then you look at the timing of scoring board, and you're like, oh crap, it's done. Race is
yeah, we're not
over.
gonna know what to do with ourselves on our residency when we're you have an hour-long practice or something, or the 2-hour race where you're like, oh, well, I just covered all 13 turns in a 30-second time period. But yeah, I mean, I looked through going through my Outlaws pictures the other day. You try and get every driver, but you end up I ended up with a bunch of Larson and the ABR car from Tuesday, and then Saturday I ended up with I think Saturday I did a little better with a variety, but yeah, you go through and you're like, oh, well, that lap I just took 10 pictures of Rico and nobody else.
Yeah, I definitely, there are cars that I favor.
Yeah, I catch myself.
If your car is all black and it's not appealing, I already know the picture's going to turn out like crap. So
Yeah,
and
that was
I
something I
find
wanted
myself, I find myself favoring orange cars. Like that number
so,
18 was amazing.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like, oh, it's pretty. I like it. So I
Yeah,
take a picture. Or it's like, oh crap, I've taken a lot of pictures of that one already. The next lap, I need to try to get the other one, because you have to pick, and you can't, you have to be like, okay, I'm gonna get like the odd place numbers this one, and I'm gonna get the even place numbers this one, because you can't do like 1, 2, 3, 4.
I don't know if you can pay that much attention, because half the time when I'm doing it, I'm just especially the sprints, I'm just getting whatever car I can get as it goes by. I'll tell myself, oh, this lap I need to get the number 1 car, and then I get
Maybe
I get
I'll
the
get
car in front of it and then 4 cars behind it.
Or they're so quick that it's like, oh shit, it's already back. Like,
yeah,
I thought it just went. It did. I mean, they have like 13-second laps around Sharon, which is nuts.
Yeah.
Like the qualifying lap, like the top speed was a 13.112. It's crazy.
I guess I'm looking through my pictures from Sharon this weekend, and it looks like I did at least a good variety of pictures in their qualifying and stuff. And then in the race, kinda.
I mean, almost a second difference between Wayne and Sharon.
Yeah.
And they're pretty similar. I mean, it's the same type of car. Some of them were the same cars.
Yeah. Just very fast. I was just looking through the pictures, and yeah, it seemed I got a lot of Rico Saturday, some Brad Sweet, a lot of Donnie Schatz. I mean, he ended up winning the race.
Yeah, I'm glad I listened to something about how his name was pronounced, because I would have not pronounced it correctly. And gravel, I would have said gravel.
Man, we ain't fancy boys around here.
So is Rico, is it Abreu?
I always want to say Abreu.
That's what
that's what it looks like. But Flo says Abreu.
I could see that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I always want to say Abreu, but everything I've heard, because when I was watching the Chili Bowl, I had sworn last year I had heard someone say Abreu, or maybe it was just the way, when I saw his name, that's how it always said in my mind. But during the Chili Bowl, they kept saying Abreu, and I was like, no, that's not, that can't be it. And yeah,
I'm sure they would know.
Yeah, so I'm gonna take
which,
it as
which
it's
awesome. Let you guys know
Abreu.
that on our Instagram, we got a message
He did.
from Mr. Rico,
Yeah,
saying one of Chris's shots was a nice shot, and that was pretty cool to have
So
a driver reach.
it's this will last week we got the message from Rico, two count them, 2 likes from ABR Alex Bowman Racing, a share from Alex Bowman Racing,
Whoa,
and a share from Lane Racing. That's Chris Wyndham's car owner. And Wayne County shared my Instagram post, which leads into one.
I haven't seen a share from Sharon yet.
Which leads to one last thing, and then we got to start wrapping up here. It's getting late tonight.
Yeah.
These track promoters and social media people not sharing our pictures, but sharing the ones that look like garbage from everybody else. Not to be mean, but I don't.
And we're not going to name names because that's their livelihood, that's their art. But I do see ours, and I'm like, and yes,
well,
I'm partial,
wondering
of course, to ours, but I'm also like, damn, these pictures look good.
If I lost my train of thought,
if these guys are like their
or if one, Instagram and Facebook are both dying, but the fact that we have, if anyone is an Instagram or Facebook expert, let us know. But because we
follow our stuff, so we can get more followers, because apparently that's all they look at.
We don't, because our pages are professional pages, that because we don't promote our pages, pay the $10 so the post can reach 20 more people.
And some of these other ones, it's just like insert guy's name, photography. It's ours is a quote unquote company, photography company, and not just Joe Schmo photography.
1 second while they're being crazy.
It's got to go handle the dogs. But yeah, guys, if you have an Instagram or a Facebook or a TikTok, make sure to follow us at Ohio Motorsports, at From the Infield.
They give lost room privileges.
Give us some likes and follows and help boost those numbers up, because we could definitely use them. We're getting there. I think our TikTok is our biggest one. I mean, we have 129 followers, which is that's a lot. For me, that's a lot. I think my personal Instagram has more followers than my business one.
Well, yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at. I have about 500 Instagram followers, and I was doing an experiment last week, like I told you, with my high limit photos. I got about 30-ish likes on my Instagram post for high limits. Our Facebook post, or not Facebook, our Instagram post with same pictures posted, I think, an hour apart, has 3 likes. And I think one of them is you.
Yeah. Yep. I boost those numbers.
So, but yeah, other than
I go on my personal TikTok and like it too. Hey, I like to like.
Picks from last week.
Yeah, so I for the All-Star, you picked Byron and I picked Barry. I have no clue where either of those finished.
I won.
You won?
Yeah, I think so. Because I know. Oh, nope, you won.
Oh, I won. Woohoo!
I know Byron was cutting his way through the field, but nope, you won that one. And then we did something for IndyCar, right?
I think it was qualifying. Who we thought
Yes.
was gonna, yeah, you won. You definitely won. I picked Newgarden. You picked Dixon, and I think
Okay.
we kind of just washed over this. Wash is probably bad terminology. Imola was canceled.
Yeah.
If you're wondering why we weren't talking about F1, one, because it's boring. Two, he's rubbing off on me, guys. I'm becoming an F1 hater, which is just horrible. Maybe not. But yeah, last week they just canceled it because the track was literally underwater. The paddock was underwater.
Now I saw something today. It might have been a clickbait ad, but potential Monaco issues too.
Please,
is that a clickbait thing, or have you?
Monaco is an issue. I would go to motorsport.com, but everything of theirs is under a paywall. Oh, not Monaco.com. I don't know what that is.
I would guess that's a
news. New format.
That would just be the new.
Oh, it's going to be
format.
produced. No, it's produced. It's going to be produced by F1 TV for the first time. It's always been produced by Monaco's team, and that's why the coverage sucks. So it will just suck a little less this year. Yeah, I don't see anything.
Okay, probably just a clickbait ad then.
Yeah.
All right, the Big 3 weekend.
Who do we think is going to win the Charlotte 600?
Denny Hamlin. Oh, I know I'm going to regret that pick, but it was just the first one that came to mind. He does good in crown jewels, so
you're liking Denny Hamlin a lot there. Oh, gonna go with God. I don't know. Just gonna go with Harvick.
not a bad choice. Okay.
For Monaco Grand Prix. What? Let's do a fun one for this one.
Which Ferrari wrecks out?
All right. Which one do you want?
Oh, Leclerc.
All right.
Because I can't think of the other ones. That Sainz is the other one, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take Leclerc. You take.
All right, Ed. Let's do the 500. Who is going to win? I almost said Daytona 500, Indy 500, which Chris and I are actually going to have an Indy 500 party, and it's going to roll over into a Charlotte 600 party. So there's no excuse for me not to watch the race this time.
You can go first.
Oh man, let me look at the qualifying again. Oh, I already got rid of it. Never mind.
I'm just going with vibes on this because I got rid of it too.
Oh, goodness. Oh, I want. You know what? I'm going to still go with. Who have I not picked this year? I'm going to go with Rosenquist.
I'll go with Award just because I want to, and we'll just go with the McLarens.
All right. Those
there
are
was
our
no
picks.
fantasy last week, so if you forgot NASCAR,
there was no NASCAR fantasy?
No, they didn't do it for the All-Star. I realized it yesterday at about 4:30 before the race started. So yeah, the big weekend this week. I would say one of the biggest racing weekends, probably because of Indy.
Oh, I thought the big one was Monaco.
Anything else before we head out tonight?
No, I think
Good
that's
hour,
it.
and the dogs are going to drive me crazy.
We're going to be at Sharon Speedway. Apparently, they are racing 3 days in a row.
Yeah,
Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Yeah.
And
Wednesday,
I think we're just going to be there.
There's a meet and greet
Wednesday.
at Quaker Steak.
What, out
in
there?
Warren. Out there.
I think Chris and I will only be there Saturday, possibly.
Yeah, I think it's just going to be a Saturday for me.
It's a little hard to get there on a Friday. Definitely hard to get there on a Thursday. I don't know if I'm ready to be at a track 3 days in a row yet. Even though
without camping,
I'll have to do it next week.
Yeah, we don't want to burn you out, and then
I don't want to burn out before I go to Detroit.
It would be like this weekend, then 3 days next weekend, then like 2 weeks off, 3 weeks off to do it.
Yeah,
3 weeks in
which
a
we're
row.
not even going to be off because I think that we have Speed Week.
Oh yeah, we do.
Yeah, we have Ohio Speed Week where I think we're only going to go to probably Sharon and Wayne.
Yeah, I might do Sharon that Friday night, probably, because I get off work at 1:45, so it's no big deal for me.
Sharon's not on a Friday.
It's not?
No, I don't think.
We'll look it up and figure it out. Oh, yes, it is. Yes.
Yeah, and then we have a Sunday, Monday.
Attica's a Friday.
And then I don't know if we're going to go do the Super Crown Nationals out at Lorraine the weekend before Vintage.
I don't know. I might need an off weekend by then.
Hey, you have an off week the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. You get an off week when I'm in Detroit.
All right. So, I think that's it for
not to watch the race because I'll be there.
I think that's it for this week.
All right.
Anything else?
We will see you next week, hopefully with a lot of great content to bring you. We'll try to keep the racer recaps a little shorter and go on some other stuff. Maybe one day we'll have a guest come on. Who knows? If you ever watch this and there's something you want us to do, send us a message. Give us some ideas.
Always open. Always open for some ideas.
We're open. You're the customer. What do you want to see? All right, guys. We'll see you next week.
Yeah. All right. See ya.